Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talk with Antonio. I am your host, Antonio. Today is October 1st, one of the best months of the year. And I know I have not been recording, which I do sincerely apologize because I just got a new seasonal job right now. It's been taking much of my time, and I have just not have had enough time to record. And usually when I get home from work, I just come dead tired. So I was like, oh my goodness. So today is my day off, and I'm going to be recording. And yes, I was supposed to be talking about Hulk Hogan, how he died of there's stories going around that he died of medical malpractice, but that's actually going to be for a future episode. I don't know when, but this is more important because this happened last month, like in the middle of September. So this is what I'm going to be talking about. Well, first and foremost, are we living in the 20th century or the 21st century? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if we go back into the 20th century, like what happened in Europe and the late Soviet Union, how they do censorship, how they censor the media, censor TV, censor people, etc. The whole 9 yards, people. And I think to myself, okay, like during Hitler's time, he censored the newspaper. He controlled everything. Basically, he just wanted to be controlled so nobody could say shit about him, or even the Soviet Union, like with Joseph Stalin in charge. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what happened in sometime in the 20th century. I was way before my time, but even during when I was born in the middle of the 80s. The Soviet Union was still around, but it wasn't really like as, I don't know. I could be wrong, perhaps, people. So let's fast forward to the year 2025, September 2025. Well, first and foremost, let's rewind a bit. Okay. We all know the lawsuit that happened between Paramount and CBS and Paramount towards, I don't know if it's the Trump administration or what. I don't know, nor do I fucking care. Trump was bitching and complaining, and now CBS and Paramount are canceling the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, or Stephen Colbert, however you want to pronounce it. And because of Trump, and you know how people are saying, oh, the whole MAGA world are all happy that Stephen Colbert is being canceled, because according to Trump, if he doesn't he says all he ever talks about it is fucking Truth Social, is ratings this, ratings that. Motherfucker, the United States is not a TV show. This is real life. Act like the so-called free leader of the free world that is. If you can even call freedom that is. And when I saw about that Stephen Colbert was being canceled, I was flabbergasted, not gonna lie, because I never expected that for CBS and Paramount to cower down to Trump, you know? And it's just ridiculous of how, according to Trump and the MAGA world, only freedom of speech applies to them. But ever since this whole incident that happened with Charlie Kirk last month, things have been shifting. Like, nobody can say shit about that guy, about that potato face fuck, which I don't fucking care. If you say, like, a lot of people have been fired, have been let go just because they say shit about that guy who got shot and killed at this university in Utah. Like, if my memory serves correctly, I remember Charlie Kirk was the same guy who was talking all this shit about George Floyd, or he was talking shit about the husband of Nancy Pelosi, about how he got hit with a hammer, and he was praising. He was cheering that shit. And they say that we should pay the bill because he's a patriot, the guy who attacked the husband of Nancy Pelosi. So only freedom, but if someone was talking shit about this guy, oh, you can't say this, you can't be talking this about the dead people. But if another thing that I remember correctly, these are the same people who were posting stickers on their trucks, having President Biden wrapped up and gagged up and tied like he was hogtied. But if someone says shit about Trump or Charlie Kirk, then it's you can't say that. It's like the hypocrisy of the right that they can say all this shit, but if the left says this, you can't. You're not supposed to say that. You should be sensitive and all that stuff. And you know how Fox News were saying that America is in mourning? I'm not in mourning. Do I care about Charlie Kirk? No. The way he died, yes, it sucks. Like, believe it or not, I was not in favor of like, no one deserves to die like that. But as I was telling my friend, she was surprised that I said all this stuff on my Instagram. But I used to say all this shit about this guy on my Blue Sky and on my Twitter page. I say all this shit all the fucking time. But it's just like with Charlie Kirk, he said a lot of shit that hurt. He hurt a lot of people for his comments. And people are saying America's in mourning. I'm not in mourning. Do I care about Charlie Kirk? No. I have zero fucks about that guy. And now, like, all these people that say shit about, like, you know how Trump is going, he went after Stephen Colbert. He did. He succeeded. And then now, this is where I'm going to get into is he went after Jimmy Kimmel. And the thing is with Jimmy Kimmel is that he really didn't, he said something about Charlie Kirk. He didn't really say shit, anything like bad or anything like that. But according to that comment, that's what got him suspended. He was suspended at first indefinitely. Let me see if I can find a video here. Let me see. All right, this is the comment that happened. This was over 13 days ago. Jimmy Kimmel pulled off the air indefinitely over Charlie Kirk joke. That's all he did. Because you know how the right says, oh, you can't say that because he died, but yet the right can say all these jokes, but no, we always have to keep our mouth shut, you know? This has happened 13 days ago. 1 second.
And that breaking news here at 6 today, the future of the late night show Jimmy Kimmel Live is in jeopardy. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. ABC is preempting the show indefinitely because of comments he made following, I should say, the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live from the newsroom. Conan, that announcement is sending shockwaves through Hollywood tonight.
It is, Colleen, and it deserves a little bit of a backstory. Prior to the news conference on Tuesday that delineated the evidence against the assassin, the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, there was a narrative over the weekend that perhaps this man, Tyler Robinson, was actually a supporter of President Donald Trump. In fact, there were those who believed he was part of the ultra-right wing who considered Charlie Kirk to be too liberal, that he was too accommodating to political moderates and leftists. That turned out not to be the case. But in between that wording on the internet and what happened on Tuesday with the announcement of the evidence, it appears that Jimmy Kimmel bought into what was being said online, and that led to the monologue that is in dispute on Monday night. The controversy stemmed from this joke during Monday night's monologue on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show taped on Hollywood Boulevard. It regarded not slain political activist Charlie Kirk, but Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old man accused in Kirk's murder.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. You can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
The day following the monologue, prosecutors in Utah County, Utah, indicated that the killer was not a supporter of President Donald Trump, but rather of the political left, and viewed Charlie Kirk as an enemy of the trans and gay movements. Today, the Nexstar Media Corporation, which is in need of FCC approval for a $6.2 billion merger with the media company Tegna, issued a statement saying it strongly objected to Kimmel's comments and was going to replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. ABC Television announced it is suspending airing of the program indefinitely. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, on conservative commentator Benny Johnson's podcast, threatened to take action against ABC for Kimmel suggesting that Kirk's killer was a Trump supporter.
In what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick.
Like typical Trump crony. He's just like, saying all this shit to Jimmy Kimmel. Why didn't if this is the same dude who's complaining and bitching about what Jimmy Kimmel said about that guy, why didn't he say shit about people who were saying about George Floyd or President Biden? Why? Typical MAGA nut.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump, who has long been a critic of Jimmy Kimmel's, responded from the United Kingdom, in part saying on his Truth social media, "Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." The words of President Trump. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4.
And you heard that. Trump is happy that at that time he was happy that Jimmy Kimmel was being pulled off the air. And, it's funny how ever since Trump came back into power, he wants to control everything. Like, he wants to change everything. He wants to change the rules. Like, right now, again, he's fucking... right now, we're in the middle of a government shutdown, by the way. And there's a picture of him and Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer handing him stupid red hats of Trump 2020. Like, I don't know if Trump can read or is he fucking stupid that he could change the Constitution like that, like at a snap of his fingers, so he could run again for 2020. Who the fuck knows if this guy's going to be alive by then? Because he's not doing well health wise. Everybody fucking knows that. But to the MAGA world, he's in much better physical condition than President Obama. Sure, and I'm Gene Simmons. Get the fuck out of here with that. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy in better physical condition than President Obama? Trump? That's fucking laughable. Yeah, exactly. And he was off the air, but Jimmy Kimmel got major support from everybody. And the other day, and the days when this shit happened, I live in the San Fernando Valley, and I was working with my regular job, and I saw the people outside in Burbank on Walt Disney Studios. People were protesting. They were supporting Jimmy Kimmel because Trump doesn't like in his whole in his so-called administration right now. He doesn't believe in freedom of speech. It only applies to them and to the MAGA world. So he could be all his fucking cronies can be all fucking racist and shit. But for regular people like from the liberal part, you can't be like that. You can't say all this. You can't this. He basically wants to shut people up. When in my opinion, that's fucking stupid. That goes against the principles of this beautiful nation that we have. And I don't know. Every time this guy just opens his fucking mouth, and he tried to, it's funny. He wanted to fire, what's his name? He was glad that Jimmy Kimmel was losing his job. And it wasn't just him. Everybody, if Jimmy Kimmel would have been canceled for good, it wasn't just Jimmy Kimmel. The production, everybody would have been fired. All because for Disney just to please Trump's ego. And even Disney admitted that Jimmy Kimmel did not say anything wrong, but because they were so scared of Trump, they wanted to appease this fucking asshole. And, as I said before at the beginning of this episode, are we living in the 20th century? It's like Mike Calta said. Are we like living like back in the days of the Soviet Union, where everything is being censored? Because it's sure as hell it's happening right now here in the United States of America. Ever since Trump came back into power, he wants to control everything. Like, he wants people to be fucking loyal to him. Like, he expects loyalty. He doesn't want loyalty to the Constitution. Like, he wants loyalty only to him. That's all he wants. He wants people to kiss his ass, to say, oh, Trump is the greatest, this and that. And not everybody thinks that way. Of course, MAGA goes, oh, he's the greatest of all time. Like, right now, inflation is up, all because of his fucking tariffs that he's installing. Everything has gone up. Nothing is cheap. It's not just in the state of California. It's everywhere here in the United States of America. Everything is expensive. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Eggs are expensive. Everything is expensive. And Trump has the gall to appear and say, "Oh, everything has gone down thanks to me." Nothing has gone down. Like, do you live in dream world, Trump? Or are you fucking senile? I guess the being senile has affected your brain. After all, because I remember like MAGAs, like Laura Loomer, all of the people like Benny Johnson, his podcaster Benny Johnson, saying, "Oh, President Biden is senile. He rambles. He says incoherent stuff." The same thing with Trump. He is the exact same thing, but yet somehow it's permitted just because it's Trump. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, enough with this guy. Like, yeah, I have to talk about this guy, but going back to Jimmy Kimmel, like, he was off the air, but he was getting a lot of support. And Jimmy Kimmel, that I think like the following week, was in LA talking to a big shot lawyer, because he knew for a fact that if Disney bowed out to Trump, he was going to fucking launch I know he was going to launch a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against ABC and all that stuff. Because he had the capacity, you know? He had the capacity to sue Trump, because it's just they're trying to censor the guy, you know? They try to censor Jimmy Kimmel. All for ABC and to please the FCC and Trump's ego. You know? But yeah, he got the people supported the guy for him to return to the air, in which he did. And now it says here that, listen to this. This was on Tuesday, September 30th, which was yesterday. It says here, FCC commissioner says companies should stop capitulating to Trump administration threats. It says here, Washington, the lone Democrat on the Federal Communications Commission on Tuesday called on major companies to stand up to threats from the Trump administration against broadcasters and others. FCC Chair Brendan Carr, a Republican, just prior had defended his recent comments pushing Disney and local broadcasters to stop airing Jimmy Kimmel Live. He says, and I quote, "We need corporations to stop capitulating. They are fraying our First Amendment and our democracy every time they capitulate," FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez said, unquote. "But I understand their businesses," she added. "They have their obligations to their shareholders, so it's our obligation not to threaten and to have these complaints hanging over people's heads." Senate Commerce Committee Chair Ted Cruz, a Texas Republican, said that Carr's threats could one day hurt conservative media outlets if employed by a future Democratic administration. "We don't want to see any weaponization of government by any administration against any perspective, and that's certainly not what we're doing here," Carr said. On Friday, Sinclair Broadcast Group and Nexstar Media Group ended their preemptions of the late-night show on their 70 NBC-affiliated stations, covering nearly a quarter of U.S. households, days after ABC had resumed broadcasting Kimmel's show. Both his terms and Trump has threatened to rescind licenses from local broadcast affiliates of the networks, and earlier this month suggested Carr could rescind licenses against broadcasters for mostly negative newscasts. And you know, it's funny how Trump wants to weaponize everything in this country just because they don't bow down to him. Like right now with what's going on with the mayor of the guy who is running for mayor of New York City. He says that if he wins, he's going to hold funds everything for New York City. Trump weaponizes anything just because they don't kiss his ass. It's so ridiculous how this country, people were saying that President Biden was a dictator. This guy is Trump is acting more of a dictator than any president has ever been in power in this country. Even this fucking cocksucker, George W. Bush, even fucking Ronald Reagan was not a dictator. And I know, and he was already president before my time, because I was born in '84, so he was already in the process of being a second term or first term. I don't remember exactly, but none of these presidents have ever acted like this guy right here with Trump. And also yesterday with Pete Hegseth, that fucking drunk DEI piece of shit. He says no fat generals, and Trump is also threatening and everybody if they don't like him, he'll fire them and he'll remove their rank, anything, just because Trump is just a fucking asshole. He got drunk with power. He says, I'm the president, I could do whatever the fuck I want. That's not how it works in the United States of America. But somehow Trump's cronies and the whole entire Republican Party just bends over and let this guy does whatever the fuck he wants in power. But watch. Governor Newsom right now has been a thorn on Trump's side because he trolls Trump. And the same people bitch and complain that Governor Newsom should not be doing all this stuff, but yet Trump did the exact same thing when President Obama was in power. But that was allowed just because he is Trump. But right now, at least Governor Newsom is somebody in power. He's the governor of the great state of California. Trump was nothing back then. He was just a regular citizen, but all he ever did, go on Twitter, was fucking spew all this bullshit, saying all this shit that to me, Trump is just another diarrhea mouth punk. Because that's what he is, a diarrhea mouth punk. He never fucking shuts up. He never shuts the fuck up for anything. I swear to you, people. I mean, like, I remember the one tweet that I so remember vividly on Twitter, because there's receipts. The internet doesn't forget at all, people. And he says, gas prices are high. Fire Obama. Trump was always fucking running his mouth all the fucking time. And it says here, continuing with the article, this administration is utilizing the FCC regulatory authority over licenses in order to censor content, Gomez said. Yeah, because that's exactly what's happening. Trump wants to fucking censor people. He wants to, just because they don't kiss his ass. It says here that Carr defended his comments, saying the FCC was enforcing public interest standard. He did not apologize for his, quote, we can do the easy way or the hard way, quote, unquote, comment directed at the broadcasters over Jimmy Kimmel show that came under heavy criticism. He said that the comment was represented, sure, motherfucker, and I'm President Obama, and praised local broadcasters for using their authority to preempt programming. Maybe now there is a permission structure for they feel like their other groups and global stations can push back, Carr said. You got to shift power. And it says here that it's stupid, you know? And it says here, this is from Mediaite. Brutal poll shows punishing Trump critics with FCC opposed by a whopping majority even of Trump voters. It says here that a new poll shows that stunning majorities of Americans oppose punishing criticism of President Trump via the FCC communication, including by a whopping 3-1 among Republicans and more than 2-1 Trump voters. It says here that September saw a rift of moves that observers on all sides saw as an assault on free speech. In the wake of shocking killing of, quote, activist Charlie Kirk, unquote, Trump Attorney General Pam Bondi drew criticism for threatening to go after people over, quote, hate speech, including mockery or celebration of Kirk's assassination. First of all, I am not celebrating for the way he fucking died. I just did not care for this fucking piece of shit. If Pam Bondi doesn't like it, well, tough shit, motherfucker. You can't tell people what to say or not to say. This is a free country, you know? Yes, even though people are being censored right now, but it doesn't, they can't shut everybody up, you know? Pam Bondi and Trump can fucking kiss my ass. I don't fucking care. And for this, Pam Bondi just said, you know what? Shut up! There, shut the fuck up. Shut up! It says here that Trump also blurted out an escalating series of rants, essentially warning that criticizing him is now, quote, illegal. And floated pulling FCC licenses as a consequence. Like what? You can say all this shit about President Obama, President Biden, all this shit, but if they say shit about you, motherfucker, it's illegal. I mean, are you living in fantasy land, dude? You seriously want to shut down people just because they don't like you? Now, you know, there's an old saying, you can't be liked by everybody. You know, This is a fact, and this is a clear fact of life, Trump. If you don't like what people say to you, okay, shut up. Go on Truth Social and say all this fucking bullshit, because all you ever do is rant on and say incoherent, like inconsistencies on Truth Social, you know? That's because that's all you ever do is say stupid shit and never shut the fuck up. Shut up! That's what you need to do, Trump, for once. Just shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about what you say. Only the people that care about what you say are your voters, which is because they're the ones drinking the fucking Kool-Aid, you know? And it says here that additionally, late night host Jimmy Kimmel was suspended under intimidation from Trump and FCC chief Brendan Carr, and Trump announced that he was designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Well, what about the January 6th? Those are fucking terrorists. And it says here that Kimmel was reinstated after a wave of Disney Plus cancellations because, if y'all remember, going back to 2012, when George Lucas sold Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Indiana Jones to Disney for X amount of $3.something billion. Well, in one day, Disney lost all that because of people were canceling Disney Plus and all that. I don't even have Disney Plus or Hulu, whatever. I'm old fashioned. I have DVD and VHS, but it didn't affect me. But the people who cancel them, fuck yeah, and their website crashed. But it says here that major affiliate owners Sinclair Broadcasting and Nexstar said that they would not air the show, citing comments by Carr. Within days, both relented. And it says here that in a new YouGov poll taken at the end of the month, it turns out that punishing Trump critics with license revocation is the least popular among of 30 Trump policy ideas. Respondents to the poll were asked, would you support or oppose the following? Threatening to remove broadcast licenses from TV networks critical of Trump? A whopping 75% responded that they somewhat oppose or strongly oppose the policy versus 12% of who supported. Even amongst Trump voters, 62% were opposed versus 26% of who supported the idea. Well, typical. And 61% to 22% among Republicans. The next least popular policy was, quote, canceling a plan to require airlines to compensate passengers for delays and cancellations, which was opposed by 68% and supported by just 18%. Only 8 of the 30 policies listed received net support in the poll, while 22 of them faced net opposition. It's like Trump wants to fucking go after, he just wants to cancel people or revoke their license just because they're, quote, saying shit about him. Really, dude? Are you fucking delusional or something like that? But then ABC went back on their word in terms of like not suspending Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely. And it says that when he returned, it says here that I forget which day it was because, like I said, I was working. When Kimmel returned, it was watched by 6.3 million viewers, making it the second most watched broadcast in the show's history and more than a regular, tripling its regular viewership. Wow, that's great, And it says here that, and like people are saying, like people like the New York Post, Fox News, say, it was just short lived. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. That was 7 days ago. But you know what though? What matters is that Jimmy Kimmel was not canceled. He was not canceled at all. But it says here that Trump wants to go after Jimmy Kimmel, and he wants to sue with ABC and Jimmy Kimmel. Trump, typical. It says here that this is on October 1st. No, I don't call him president. Trump is threatening Democrats with irreversible cuts to their programs as a result of this week's federal government shutdown. But Jimmy Kimmel isn't buying it. I was recently the victim of a government shutdown, Kimmel pointed out. They are reversible, I will tell you that. The audience cheered wildly at the line. A reminder of how Kimmel was suspended by Disney in mid-September after a threat from FCC Commissioner Chair Brendan Carr and attacks by President Donald Trump over the comments he made about the suspect in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kimmel's suspension led to a public outcry, a petition by celebrities, and reported 1.7 million people canceling their Disney-related streaming subscriptions afterwards. The suspension was lifted days later. This is what he said. One moment. You can hear the people right there.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for joining us on night 2 of our week-long residency at the beautiful Brooklyn Academy of Music in Brooklyn, New York. My fellow late-night host Stephen Colbert is here with us. All right. It's the show the FCC doesn't want you to see. We're doing something unprecedented tonight. Now, although I think it's unprecedented, I did not bother to check. Tonight, Stephen is a guest on our show. I will simultaneously be a guest on his show. We thought it might be a fun way to drive the president nuts.
Now that Trump is going to go fucking crazy over there.
Stephen is here. I know that Colbert has a ton of support here in New York where he does his show. We are behind him in L.A. too. This sign was over the 101 freeway in L.A. when we went back on the air.
Public pressure works. Kimmel is back. That's on the 101 freeway.
This is the sign that is up now. It says, now do Colbert.
I hope that happens, though. They bring him back.
Right, Guillermo? Where's Guillermo? Guillermo?
Oh.
Make it to the end of the week. How late were you out last night?
Midnight, 12 o'clock.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah. Jim.
Once a year, we bring our whole staff. We bring more than 200 people to Brooklyn, and at the end of the week...
And you know, it's funny. Look at the support that Jimmy Kimmel has. Even for Guillermo, man. That guy's cool. I'll be frank. I don't watch The Late Show, any type of late show that often, because growing up, I remember it was... The Tonight Show with Jay Leno that was filmed here in Burbank, California. The Late Show with David Letterman. All these like even before my time, there was Johnny Carson. Who else? I forget. You know, it's just like the thing with late night shows. But I never really watched it. But growing up, it was always, like I said, that it was Jay Leno, David Letterman. Now it's Stephen Colbert. Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon. And you know, like right now, since Trump went after Jimmy Kimmel, and now he wants to go after Jimmy Fallon. That Trump. I was speaking to my mom the other day about this guy that Trump all he ever does is just spew venom. Why doesn't he do something useful? Which is something I totally agree with my mom. Sorry. All Trump ever does is just go on fucking Truth Social, use his phone, and say all this shit. Spew this, fake news, fake everything. This, according to this motherfucker, everything is fake to him, you know? As for him, bird for Trump. And my mom, she says that all he ever does is just say this, say that, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't never shut the fuck up for once. You know, it's just like in this episode, I only show like a part of it because he was talking to what's his name, to Stephen Colbert was his guest, and it says here that let me see. Okay, this is from. Let me see. Give me 1 second, people. This is this thing. Heated when it fucking stops loading. Okay, this is from today at 6:45 a.m. October 1st. It says here that Jimmy Kimmel repeatedly mocks Trump while teaming up with Stephen Colbert. It says here that Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert mocked Trump as they appear as guests on one another show on Tuesday. Give me a second, people. This thing is fuck, man. I hate when this shit stops loading. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Give me a second, people. It's just this thing is fucking loading, man. Oh, it don't even matter. It just says that they both appear on guests on shows, and they were just supporting. Even what's his name, Conan O'Brien went on Jimmy Kimmel to support it, because right now, oh yeah, how can I forget Conan O'Brien? I always forget about him. It says here, okay, finally. It says here that Newsweek reached out to Trump's representative for comment on Wednesday via email outside regular working hours. Why it matters. It says here that the collaboration underscores a pivotal moment for the United States late-night television landscape as network economics, political controversy, and freedom of speech collide. Both hosts have faced suspension or cancellation, with attacks from Trump bringing the fraught relationship between politics, media criticism, and entertainment into sharp relief for American audiences. Their high-profile crossover marks an escalation in late-night TV's ongoing response to political pressure and industry challenges. What to know? On September 30th, which was last night, Colbert appeared on Kimmel's Brooklyn Week special on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Kimmel paid a reciprocal visit to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The crossover came amid recent turmoil, including Colbert's show being canceled by CBS in July and Kimmel's temporary suspension by ABC in September following controversial comments about the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. Both have been publicly been targeted by President Trump, who criticized their content and threatened legal action. That's all he ever does. Kimmel opened his show with Colbert as a guest, joking, "We thought it might be a fun way to drive the president nuts. So I'm excited that Stephen is here," referencing to Trump's repeated jabs at late-night hosts. He added, "It's the show the FCC doesn't want you to see." Simultaneously, Kimmel appeared on Colbert's show, where he hit back at Trump once again. "Do you ever think that the President of the United States will be celebrating your unemployment?" Colbert asked, to which, "I mean, that son of a bitch." "No, I never imagined that we ever had a president like this, and I hope we don't have ever another president like this again," Kimmel said. "I have never even imagined there would be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs." Because that's what Trump wanted. If they would have canceled Jimmy Kimmel, it wasn't just Jimmy Kimmel. His entire production would have been out of a job, and Trump and the MAGA would have been celebrating, which I think is fucked up, you know. It says here that, but somebody took pleasure in that, and that to me is absolute opposite of what a leader of this country should be supposed to be. The recent controversy began earlier in September when ABC suspended Kimmel after comments he made on air regarding Kirk's death, sparking a debate about the limits of political comedy and the role of government regulation. In the comments in question, Kimmel told his audience, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing politically everything so he could score political points from it." Next Star and Sinclair broadcasters briefly preempted Jimmy Kimmel Live before resuming normal programming after public backlash and celebrity support. What people are saying? This is what Trump wrote on Truth Social, and I quote, "I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Not happening, motherfucker. Something happened between then and now. It's because his audience is gone and his talent was never there." Like, you think you have talent, Trump? other than being a fucking corrupt crook that you are? Why would they want someone back who does poorly, who's not funny? You're not funny either, motherfucker, so shut up. Who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage. He is yet another arm of the DNC. There is no proof of that, dude. All you ever do is fucking rant. Shut up! And to the best of my knowledge, that will be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. Oh, wow. You're making all this money just by suing people. Lazy fuck. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in bad ratings. Yeah, motherfucker. That's all you ever care. This is not about ratings, dude. Get your head out of your ass, Trump. Kimmel said he took the call from ABC about his suspension in the bathroom. It was about 3 o'clock. We tape our show at 4:30. I'm in my office typing away as I usually do. I get a phone call. It's ABC. They say they want to talk to me. This is unusual. They, as far as I knew, didn't even know I was doing a show previous to this. I have like 5 people who work in my office with me. So the only private place to go is the bathroom. So I go into the bathroom and I'm on the phone with the ABC executives and they say, quote, "Listen, you want to take the temperature down. We're concerned about what you're going to say tonight, and we decided the best route is to take the show off the air." I put my pants back on, and I walked out to my office, and I called in some of my executive producers. There are about 9 people in there, and they said they're pulling the show off the air. And I was like, my wife said I was white. I was whiter than Jimmy Gaffigan when I came out of there. I thought, that's it. It's over. It is over. I was like, I'm never coming back on the air. That's what I really thought. So we told our staff, meanwhile, and the whole audience was in their seats. During the crossover, Colbert discussed his apprehension about telling his staff about the show's cancellation. I had sweat through my shirt. I didn't know anything my staff didn't know. What happens next? The future of U.S. late-night television remains uncertain. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will end May 2026. Trump continued threats, including possible legal action against ABC and NBC, signaled that the contention between the Oval Office and late-night comedians is likely to persist. And it's very well known that right now Trump wants to go after Jimmy Kimmel. And even Jimmy Kimmel said that he didn't want to do anything political. But because you know how he likes to take shots at Trump every now and then, he wants to go after everybody who doesn't kiss his ass or just bend over for him, you know? I mean, this is ridiculous. How low has this country gone down in terms of this guy in power? But I, for one, I on my mind, my conscience is clear. I know who I voted for. I didn't vote for this cholesterol fuck to be voted back in power. And he doesn't want to leave, you know? And like he handed out people Trump 2028 hats. He said no. He's just like he goes back on everything. He says this. He says one thing. One day he says yes. One day he says no. He's just a flip flopper, because that's what the fuck Trump is, a flip flopper. You know, but it's just ridiculous how he wants to shut people up or revoke their licenses just because they don't kiss his ass or anything like that. So what's going to happen in the future? Like right now, at least Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air because they were not going to cower down or bow down to Trump. The ABC did bow down to Trump, but because of what happened with Disney and all that stuff, people were canceling their subscription because they were supporting Jimmy Kimmel. Celebrities, everybody, even including myself. Dude, even Ted Cruz and Candace Owens were like saying this is not good because, but at the same time, Ted Cruz is a smart motherfucker. He didn't do it because he supported Jimmy Kimmel, because he said that if this happens, if a Democratic president comes in, they were going to censor the right. When in reality, that could be further from the truth. They would not censor nobody. It's just like right-wingers saying all this stupid shit just so they could go get on their white horse and say, oh, I'm not going to do that. When in reality, that could be further from the truth, people. So, well, this is going to persist up until, who knows, up until probably like until the 2028 when Trump gets out of office, you know? And once this dude is out of the office, things is gonna go back to normal, because right now, after seeing what's going on with Trump and the FCC and all that stuff, is going to persist sometime right now. I mean, who knows what's going to happen right now with Late Show. If he wants to shut people up, okay, that like he wants to do that, but he could pout, act like a child, throw a tantrum and all this shit. It's just like Trump needs to shut the fuck up for once, you know, like they say. Shut up! That's all he needs to do. So that about wraps up for this week's podcast. I am currently speaking to a person that we will talk about. I will do an interview with this person, so keep an eye out on my Blue Sky, on my Instagram. If people listen to me, I'm on iHeartRadio, I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on Spotify for Creators. And if you find me on YouTube, look me up there. If you like the podcast, click the link and subscribe. It would mean a lot to the people that listen to me. So thank you so much, guys. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.